This is a topic that you guys have been requesting for this special for a while. Again, I feel like it has to be restated if you're uncomfortable with discussions revolving around these particular creatures, then I suggest just skipping it altogether. And for those who have been voicing their concerns on my video about Wendigos, about me talking about these beings, don't worry, I've got more than a few methods of protection. In Navajo culture, a skinwalker is a shaman or a witch doctor with the ability to turn into or possess an animal. In the Navajo language, its original name means, by means of it, it goes on all fours. Despite its apparent popularity, the legend of these beings is actually poorly understood outside of the Navajo culture due to the natives' reluctance to discuss them with outsiders. The truth behind the legend is typically kept within the knowledge of their own people or those they strongly trust. So, to any members of the Navajo tribe that are listening to this, as an outsider, I'm sorry if I mess up. Again, this is stuff that I've basically managed to gather from a wide variety of research and listening to various stories online. So, if there are more than a few inaccuracies, I apologize in advance. Each skinwalker is a once ordinary human that discovers the ability to shift into an animal form. Some say they do this to escape persecution and relocation. Other forms of the legend state that they're created after the individual murders someone that they're close to, such as a family member. But the origin of this creature tends to vary. What is prevalent, though, is that in most, if not all cases, becoming a skinwalker is a curse that the individual wants, and they're willing to perform a multitude of evil acts in order to achieve it. Skinwalkers can take on whichever form they wish, although most commonly they are seen taking on the form of a coyote, wolf, or even a deer. Certain animal furs are widely restricted by the Navajo people for this reason, as the pelts of these creatures are required for the transformation. These things set this creature apart from others, such as the Wendigo. Both the Wendigos and Skinwalkers are created from human beings being cursed, but the Wendigo is a slave to its hunger. Desperation drove it to cannibalize another human, and from then on, the hunger cannot be alleviated or extinguished. The reason for their violence is due to them being mad with hunger, replacing any sort of humanity within them with agony and desperation. A skinwalker welcomes its curse. It enjoys the evil acts it commits, and if the odds are in their favor, they will happily pounce at the opportunity to strike. So, how can you tell if the coyote, wolf, fox, bear, deer, or some other creature that just crossed your path is actually a skinwalker on the prowl? In most versions of the legend, these creatures, when they're in their animal form, can be identified in a number of different ways. Less experienced skinwalkers can't replicate the subtle nuances of the animal that they're mimicking. So, let's say you spot a deer, but its posture or the way that it walks or moves makes it appear injured, despite looking totally fine otherwise. It could be a skinwalker. Skinwalkers are also known in some stories for having an unmistakably human look in their eyes. So, if you're close enough to see that, you're probably in some serious danger. Skinwalkers are also characteristically known for being large and fast. So if you see a wolf that's roughly the size of a small bear, or you see any other creature that's making its way towards you at an unnaturally fast pace, and it stops in place every time you look at it, do yourself a favor and don't take your eyes off of it and make your way to an area where you're safe. If you can, get into a vehicle and floor it. If you're in your house, lock all of the doors and the windows, but in all honesty, if you're really that close, you're probably screwed. Going back to mimicry for a moment, skinwalkers are known to repeat words, phrases, or conversations they've learned from previous victims. These phrases are known to sound identical to the last time they used that specific phrase, kind of like an audio recording. The words can even sound warped or distorted. Another thing to look out for, because if you hear the creature but you don't see it, or it still sounds like it's very far away from you, you have a much better chance at escaping or having enough time to find a way to protect yourself. But of course, the telltale mark of a skinwalker in animal form is the absence of a tail. So, unusually large wolf, no tail, glazed human look in the eyes, probably a skinwalker. And again, if you're close enough to recognize all of that, you're probably most definitely screwed. Now, what about if a skinwalker takes on a human form? How do you know? Well, let's just say you see your old neighbor Jim standing at the edge of your property. You know Jim very well. How he talks, what his body language is like, how he carries himself, all that. If none of those things line up, don't talk to Jim, don't go near Jim, and don't make any gestures or movements towards him, because that is not the real Jim. And anything you do, the skinwalker will study and learn so it can use it the next time. In short, skinwalkers can mimic just about anything human or animal in terms of sounds or body movements in order to draw you closer to it. They can take on the appearance of a person you know or an animal, but won't be able to replicate the way that specific person or animal would normally behave or move. And one more telltale sign. If, say, you do see what you suspect is a skinwalker, and you're with a group of friends, or you're packing a weapon, these beings are not stupid. In fact, they are terrifyingly smart. If they feel like the odds are against them, they will stand up on 2 feet and take off into the woods. So, that being said, how do you protect yourself from a skinwalker? Well, if you're actively being stalked by one, you're in luck because you might have a bit of time. Usually in this case, the best thing you can do is get blessed by a Navajo priest. Or, I've heard there's even a talisman you can carry that can ward these creatures off. If your back's against the wall, however, there's a skinwalker nearby, you're about to be attacked, it's do or die, it's time to get violent. From what I know, shooting one of these creatures with bullets dusted with a fine layer of ash or an unspecified type of powder will do in a skinwalker. But again, these creatures are smart. So if they see you step out with a gun, they'll more than likely take off. Still, unless you, your home, or your property are blessed, or the skinwalker is still alive, you're not officially safe and they're bound to come back. That's all I have for this video, you guys. Thank you for watching. It's probably pretty obvious to my viewers who are natives that I am an outsider with limited knowledge of these things. So if I got anything wrong, I do sincerely apologize. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this video down in the comment section below. My name is BlueRaven666, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!